research. I've done it full time for 10 years. I'm a professional conspiracy theorist.
Scrimba and Isa got real quiet.
Mr. Enoch, can you tell me what are your viewpoints on the globe?
It's a cartoon. It's fake. I tested it for 10 years. The surface of the Earth doesn't curve in all directions. That's why plane surveyors assume the Earth is flat for 100 square miles. They've been doing astroarchaeology, lining up megalithic structures with the sky for thousands of years. Because all constellations move around Polaris, it's a stationary pole star. People will try and pretend a stationary pole star proves we're on a moving ball, but that's ridiculous. Anyone with common sense can figure that out. But yeah, it's totally different than what you were told.
When you talk about the shape of the, using air quotes, the globe, what is the shape according to you? Like, is it?
You guys call it an oblate spheroid, also known as a pear or a potato.
Big.
I call it fake, bro. I call it fake. Do you guys have any questions about flat Earth?
No.
It's flat. You can test it yourself. I was going over all the facts that it's flat. Land surveyors.
You know what I do is I come up with new ones all the time. I'm always looking for experiments and things to do. And one that I recently just did was that we took a picture of the moon from California, then took a picture of the moon from Nashville, Tennessee, 46 minutes later, and the moon was looked exactly the same, so that like all the dark spots were in the exact same position, looked like the picture was taken in California, but it's 2,000 miles across the United States 46 minutes later. But if you do the math, it doesn't add up because the moon is supposedly moving at 2,200 miles an hour, and the rotation of the Earth at the equator is 1,000 miles per hour. Both
It's my birthday. If anyone has questions about flat Earth, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to dip out. I don't mean to jump on.
Question. I have questions.
All right, cool. Let's go through this real quick, and if everyone could please mute up. This is going to take like 2 minutes. So, what's up, bud?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you okay? Yeah. So, first of all, how when you're talking about the flat Earth, how is the water contained in the flat surface?
Antarctica has the highest median elevation, so it acts as a perimeter. The USGS, the people who make maps with our tax money, use Antarctica also to calculate distances outward from the North Pole. Next question.
Okay, what is at the bottom of the Earth, like the other side?
Deepest hole dug is 8 miles. It's called the Koala Super Deep Borehole. Next question.
Okay, what about the Mariana Trench?
What about it? Your model, the globe, claims the center of the Earth is 9,300 degrees. It's colder at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. If the Earth's center is almost as hot as the sun, heat travels faster through solids. It's called thermal conductivity. So if the center of Earth was almost as hot as the surface of the sun, it would be heating up the bottoms of the oceans and our feet faster than the light from the sun gets to the Earth. Next question.
Do you think mud is a thermal conductor, or Earth is a thermal conductor?
Yes, Earth definitely conducts heat. Solids conduct heat. They're better they have more thermal conductivity than liquids or gases, especially gases 90 million miles away in a vacuum. Next question.
Okay, so how do you account for the Earth's atmosphere?
You have to have a container for gas pressure. I can put up a NASA document that says that. It's force over area. That's how you get pressure. The only way you get pressure is if you have force, and the only way you get pressure is if you have area. So if you don't have a firmament, a container, a dome, volume, whatever you want to call it, you don't have gas pressure. Next question.
Do you think that there is gravity?
No. Next question.
Wait, can you explain that?
Yeah, they made it up in 1666. It was originally mass attracting mass. They couldn't prove that for 300 years. Then Einstein came around and said it's the bending and warping of space-time, which is a reification fallacy. You can't warp conceptual mediums. So, and he was a curly-haired fuck and didn't really do any of his own math. He stole all his formulas. So.
Okay. What is the God, I'm not getting words. You're just like blowing my mind with all this like information. Like, what is the force that causes like objects to like come to the ground?
Gravity hasn't been a force for 100 years. If you watch Brian Cox at the Sandusky Research Center inside the vacuum when they dropped a bowling ball and a feather, he says Newton thought of it as a force, but Einstein saw it, and I quote, very differently. Einstein said there's no force at all. So there hasn't been a force for 110 years. It's the bending and warping of space-time. Yeah. Well, basically, relative density is like the main thing, but you can take electrostatics and manipulate the downward vector. You can make things levitate. You can make them rise up. You can change the frequency with things like the Hutchinson effect, liquefy metals. You can make 80-pound cannonballs fly up to the ceiling. You can also use magnetism to levitate things. You can add heat, like to a hot air balloon, and make things levitate. It's basically like what they're calling it now in mainstream science is not just gravity, it's a collective ensemble of everything taking place, where gravity is the weakest force, but on the quantum level, they assume it's not real.